there, this video will walk you through the Intercultural Competence Development Plan. We'll be calling it Development Plan for short. This is a personal development plan that you will set for yourself for the semester. You'll be telling your personal story, sort of what is your perspective and where did that come from, how is it shaped? And then you'll be selecting a culture or an identity group that you would like to explore and learn more about this semester. You'll set goals for yourself, and I will explain that in this video. So here at the beginning, I have a summary of the assignments and the due dates. You'll have small deliverables every month to make sure that you're staying on track for this assignment. As far as grading goes, you'll be graded on completion of the assignment for each deliverable. At a minimum, I ask that the assignment should be fully completed by the due date. If there's an indication that you haven't fully reflected on one of the assignments, I'll just give you a not yet and an initial grade and return the assignment to you for more work. And then you can just make some changes and updates and resubmit it if you want to. So everyone can get an A on this assignment by intentionally working towards your goals and completing them. The beauty of this is you're going to select the culture and identity group that you want to learn more about. So hopefully you'll be personally invested in this process, and going through and working through the assignments will be satisfying and interesting for you. That's my goal here. So the first assignment is to write a paper on your story. You will address each of these different identities, different parts of your identity in this paper. Make sure that in your paper you answer the question directly below the bullet points. So I'm not looking for a 4-page paper with lots of different paragraphs. I want you to for each question, just type your answer right below it. And then move on and type your answer for the next question. This makes it much easier for me to assess whether you answered all of the questions. The next piece that will be submitted is your goal statement, progress indicator, and stress points. So you will have already taken the IDI assessment, and you will need to either meet with myself or a different qualified administrator to receive your results of your IDI assessment. After you get those results, you'll be able to complete this section. Next, you will identify one goal and progress indicator that you're willing to commit to achieving this semester. This goal should be important to you and directly related to increasing your ability to effectively navigate difference. I've provided a lot of different examples here. If none of these match what you're interested in, that's completely fine. I just wanted to give you some ideas to go off of. When you're picking your goal statement, it's important to select a culture that you possibly judge or don't know much about. So therefore, by learning more about that culture, you can decrease that social distance that we talked about in class, and have that opportunity to get to know real people and real situations that identify in that particular way. The other thing to consider is our cultures and identities in which you'll be interacting with in your future career. So you could possibly use this as an opportunity to learn more about a particular group of people and their experiences, and feel invested in that because it will help you in your future career. So for example, I've had former students select people with physical disabilities to get to know better about what those challenges might be like and what people who may identify in that way, what their experiences are like. She picked that group because she's going into long-term health care. Another person picked people who are non-believers because they identify very strongly with their faith community, and they had always judged people who didn't believe in God. So they wanted to get to know what that was like, what the experiences were like, what people who don't believe in God, what they do believe in, and that sort of thing. And that was a really interesting experience for them. Other examples are people who live in poverty. You can pick different cultural practices, different national cultures, whatever seems to make the most sense for you. Next, you will write out your goal and project progress indicator in the box below in this format. Okay, so this is exactly like these examples are. Next, you'll talk about any stress points that you might encounter as you're working towards reaching your goal. So what might you find challenging in trying to reach your goal? You'll then decide what are going to be your incremental goals that you'll work on this semester to ultimately accomplish the overarching goal that you set for yourself. Everyone needs to do all 4 intercultural competency developmental learning opportunities. So the first one is to select a book or documentary from the list in Appendix A that will help you better understand the perspective of the culture that you've identified in your goal statement. So I've curated a list from past students and from friends, and if you have any other suggestions for this list, let me know. Second, you need to select a being a minority experience. So given the goal that you've set for yourself, pick an event, an organization, or some other activity that you can engage in order to experience being a minority. You'll reflect on that experience in writing and then discuss it in class. So for example, if you are seeking to learn more about the LGBT community, you could request permission to attend the Sexuality and Gender Alliance meeting. In that way, if you don't identify as LGBTQ, then you would be a minority in that community attending that group. Other people have attended churches or other related student organizations or activities. So just make sure that it is related to the goal that you have set for yourself. Third, given the goal, you'll select 2 implicit bias tests to take and complete the reflection. And then lastly, you'll self-select 1 additional thing that you can do to reach your goal. Okay? So then here I have a timeline example for this following goal. This just gives you an idea of what you will need to do. And then right below it, you will write your own incremental goals that will help you meet your stated goal on page 5. There are hyperlinks. So for example, in Appendix A, that's where I have a list of all of the documentaries. And be able to just scroll down here. Here's a list of all of the Authentic Voices books and documentaries. So they're based on different identity groups. And if you don't see a book or a documentary listed here that you want to use, just shoot me an email and let me know what you'd like to use. Okay, let me scroll back. Okay, so that's these incremental goals. Submitting that is the end of the very first deliverable that you have for me. here. So your My Story paper, your goals statement, progress indicator, and stress points, and then your incremental goals. That's all going to be due at the end of this month. Then you'll be able to read about each of these other assignments and the deliverables that you will have for those. You don't have a final exam. Instead, you will submit a paper about your experience working towards this goal this semester. We'll talk more about this assignment in class, and I'll send you reminders about upcoming deadlines to submit information. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'll have a discussion board on Canvas so that any relevant questions that you have for me, I can answer, and the rest of your classmates can also see my explanation. Good luck, and I hope you enjoy this assignment. I will be working on this assignment myself every semester. I select a culture or identity group that I need to learn more about. And I really enjoy the process of going through setting these goals, being a minority in different community groups, learning about these different cultures and identities. And it's really rewarding to work through it with you. So I hope that you'll find this experience as interesting as I do.